us, and the last time you saw Hurricane playing some PvP on this channel was rather exciting. He played some really awesome, and I mean really awesome, StarCraft in the Underdogs Intercontinental Clash number 2. He played a series against Patience and a series against Hush, and they were both fantastic Protoss vs Protoss series. They'll be going up on the YouTube channel soon. I'm not sure where they're at right now, where we're at with those uploads. But I think they'll be going up fairly soon, like in the next few days. They haven't... there we go. I actually don't know how many of them are up. But they should go up in the next few days, so you guys can keep an eye out for that if you're interested. Definitely worth checking out in my opinion. Anyways, let's do this. Bottom left hand side, our red Protoss player is going to be Hurricane. As he sets up into this double gate opener, which is not really much of a surprise at all given the PvP matchup. About to open double gates, gives you a lot of versatility, safety, potential aggression to play the mirror matchup out. Though any sort of maps you won't see this sort of thing on are maps with in-base expansions, which are very easy to defend, easy to hide tech behind, and all the rest of it as well. As to the upper right hand side of the map, our blue Protoss player. Give it up, guys, if you're going to be cheering on Billowy. In the upper right side, a Cactus Valley. Again, cross spawns here for this best of 3. Interested to see how this is going to go. And just see what direction each of these guys are going to take this in, how they're going to try and go about things. Mothership core on the way up here from Hurricane, a couple of Adepts on the way out. I'm just going to be seeing a Stalker and a Sentry from Billowy building up at the front here as well early on. Warp Gate on the way down as well. It's actually kind of funny, the scouting patterns here from both. They've scouted around the entirety of the map with different direction scouts. And even the middle of the map just completely fog of warred up. Looks kind of cool on the minimap, doesn't it? And this probe right here from Hurricane's going to ruin everything. God damn it. We had such a cool little pattern, and now his Adepts are ruining it too. Hurricane has no thought for the art that is the middle of the map fog of war. I guess now it's beautiful in a different way. Something like that. Anyways, 2 Adepts coming across the map here. I mean, Billowy should have enough to defend, right? He went for the Stalker and a... he just go for a Stalker Sentry, right? So... he's going to have, he should have enough to defend. The Adepts will be annoying because they'll kind of shade past the Stalker, etc. But that's what this probe is for. Builds the pylon to block it off and obviously won't let that finish. But it just stops the Adepts from getting in here for now. And that's what he wants to do, just stop scouting. And he's going to get away with this kind of, you know, a couple of sentries earlier obviously helps. Because they're more valuable than a couple of Adepts as the game continues on. So it's a nice little thing to be able to build up into here in the early stages. Devs trying to shade for it again. This time they'll commit and they'll sit at the front. They don't quite get that probe. No ship core and the Stalker coming back home as well. Again, just turning it away. Once again, the pylon will cancel. No way those Adepts can get up there in time. And the Adepts do get chased away. So again, Adepts having to back off. He is back at home. We'll see a Blink upgrade coming through here now for Hurricane. So he starts to set up in towards that Blink upgrade. You'll see the Warp Gate is about to finish up from Hurricane too. And just morphing those couple of gateways into Warp Gates right now. Some Stalkers just coming into position in the main, obviously in case there's a Stargate or something which he hasn't scouted. He wants to make sure he's in position to pick off the Oracles. So just getting ready for that as a couple more Stalkers warping in from Billowy's side of the map. He's going now for his own Twilight Council. Again, his sort of standing army is a little bit more valuable with the 2 sentries over 2 Adepts. But it has delayed his tech because he's been putting so much more gas into sentry production than his opponent. So he'll get a bit of extra scouting with the hallucinated Phoenix, etc. But because they both go on Blink, it will overall be Hurricane who kind of comes out in a pretty decent position here, considering he's going to have a, you know, considering he's going to have this, you know, this hallucination. Well, Hurricane will have the advantage because he's just going to have Blink a bit faster. But I guess the information from Billowy kind of makes up for that a little bit as well. If he knows his opponent has a slightly faster Blink potentially. Well, it means that heal's not going to be too aggressive into it or anything, you know. Robo coming up just a few seconds faster as well from Hurricane. But it will be Billowy the first to throw down a Forge here in this game number 1. Now the Forge is always an interesting feature in the PvP, as all upgrades are, because an upgrade advantage in a mirror matchup can really make quite a huge difference. So you've seen these Stalkers just gathering up towards the right hand side, 6 of them here right now. I'm going to start pushing forwards, see what they can do. Hallucinate Phoenix will move on forwards as well, and just going to be seeing Hallucinate Phoenix getting shot down nice and quickly. So Hallucinate Phoenix gets shot down, and Stalker's going to move forwards here. Going to utilize that blink to try and pick up a kill. Doesn't really get too much at all though, so Stalker's just ended up keeping on blinking back, and I mean again with the Forge already down, here will be a slight advantage to Billowy. Rubber Bay coming up now back at home from Hurricane. A little bit of a passive opening really in the end, where both players end up just sort of building further in towards their tech and not really having too much pressure applied or too much damage taken. Obviously Hurricane with a little bit of blink pressure, but that's about it, as we're going to be seeing the Units from Billowy just sat, getting ready to take his own third Nexus. Yeah, I mean, just again, he's ahead on the Forge upgrade, but he's behind on the Rubber Bay and the Nexus timing, so it's again like apples and oranges in terms of the, what each player has an advantage in at this point of the game. As we'll see that Hallucination getting taken down nice and quickly by these few Stalkers. Getting shot out the sky, just like that. Rubber Bay just over halfway done, and you'll see Hallucinate Phoenix from Hurricane as well, just scouting around, will be disappearing now as it flies overhead. And well, Stalkers and Immortal, a couple of sentries all coming over to the left hand side, going to try and get ready to push on in and attack on in towards this Nexus. A few more Stalkers wolfing in here from Hurricane, and they're set up and ready to go, and a couple of Immortals already going to be trying to fight, and some Stalkers as well. See what might happen. Overcharge gets popped, and Hurricane will be using this pylon now in a bit of a defensive positioning, try and see what he can do with it, and will force kind of Billowy to pull back and pull around towards the front a little bit. Still some of these probes just going back towards the natural and all the rest of it too. As you're going to see Stalkers coming in towards the front, a couple of pylons will start to take some hits, and again, I mean, he's going to have slow disruptors though, so first disruptor already out here from Hurricane, that's a pretty scary feature. Even if Billowy has a +1 attack upgrade lead, that's not going to save him from the power of a Disruptor's Purification Nova if it hits its marker. So let's be very cautious about that. And backing away now, I mean, Hurricane will tie up the upgrades. And actually, overall, it's still a pretty similar game in terms of pace, in terms of what each player has. Hurricane's just a little bit faster on Disruptor production overall, I would say. But that's about it. Other than that, there's not really anything else. That's just about all there is to say. There's just a couple of disruptors in this, and a very slight kind of difference in upgrade timing as well. And you see these Stalkers pushing into the right and blinking away. Oh, that's a big disruptor shot, but he does blink away. But even the Immortals just getting hit and their barriers pop there is a pretty huge deal. I mean, that's going to be 2 dead Immortals right from the get-go. Now we see a blink forwards as the next disruptor shot just grabs one of those Stalkers. It's fortunate. If it was just a little bit closer, he could have got right into the center of all of those. Disruptor shot comes in on the other side, and he will make his way through. A couple of Immortals of his own now, so Billowy will get a couple of Immortals back. And there's a bit of a weird back and forth fight as the blinks continue. As the upgrades are even, Hurricane is sort of winning this fight, but then he's going to run out of units, but then he's got the Disruptor shot to push it back, and well, a real skirmish here between the players. An Observer will get picked off, just a blink forwards from Billowy to help defend against it. And now he's just going to be pulling back to the right-hand side once again. More Stalkers, a couple of Disruptors moving forwards here in Hurricane. He's going to be able to set up in the middle of the map. Yeah, ready to maybe keep on trying to pressure, as both will play this high-paced, quickly paced, high-action Disruptor Blink Stalker ball of action. As we're going to be seeing the group of units from Hurricane still looking around, seeing what's up. Disruptor shot moving forwards on either side, neither connect. Another Disruptor shot will try and see if they can just force a few Stalkers away, and another Disruptor shot, not quite grabbing those Stalkers. Hurricane coming in towards the center of the map now, going to see a few Zealots on the way up, some extra gateways coming down as well in the main base as he sets up into a 4th in the meanwhile too. Overall, Hurricane is actually looking to transition out of Disruptors a little bit here, making an Immortal now, actually adding on the Charge upgrade as well. Looking at going towards a bit more of a Charge Immortal Archon based composition later in this game. So now just again find those Disruptor shots forwards. We'll have to blink this time around. Very nearly losing a Disruptor or two. Doesn't end up happening as Scantipede, that is not where you want to be. Man, the Scantipede death animation is brutal. Look at the blood just pouring out of it. That ain't pretty. That ain't pretty at all, as again, group of stalkers, you're moving forwards, and well, obviously the watchtower control is actually pretty important. You're going to see an aggressive blink forwards. Disruptor's not really in a position to take advantage of that on either side. And again, just going to be pulling back. The Disruptor just going to continue popping here in the next few moments. This Nexus on the side is going to be finishing up in a few moments as well, so that'll finish up shortly, as we're going to see still Stalkers, Zealots in the center. Disruptors again, just not quite close enough to each other to grab that kill. This time, it's the same story. I really thought it was going to be different, but it is not the case. And once again, Billowy just sits just to the side of this watchtower. The Disruptor shot and Stalkers have to pull back once again. And again. And again. And it's still just this continuous battle in this sort of central position. Now, we will see Billowy and... kind of funny, right? Billowy and Hurricane at the same time, having the same idea of just sending a few Zealots around the center, as this time... oh my god, the Blink Stalkers could not have put the Blink part of their name into gear any sooner there. Or any later, I should say. To just still about be able to escape with their lives. These Zealots being a little bit annoying, as well these Zealots up here though. I mean, both players are going to have a... going to find annoyance with that. Is this finally a Disruptor Shop connection? No. Man, there's barely anything lost in this game as... oh my god, he finally gets a Disruptor. Billy finally finds some damages. He was a little bit slow, Hurricane, moving to his mineral line with these Zealots, but he is there now. Disruptor shots again, still not really connecting with too much, as continuous trades of these Zealots is going to be backed up by an overcharge. That will just help out that little bit more, as again it's Billowy. He picks up another Disruptor here. And that's now 4 Disruptors lost by Hurricane against the 0 of Billowy. And this has been a good couple of moments. Oh, no way! The Disruptor shot goes down earlier from Billowy, which means he is getting the connection. Another Disruptor dies, and as another Disruptor dies from Hurricane, he also loses a couple of head points on Immortals too. Big hits from Disruptors. Billowy's Disruptors. And you're going to see Zealots on the right hand side going to try and do something too. Now also Billowy going in towards Archons. He's been producing some Immortals rather than further Disruptors. I'd much rather be in Billowy's position than Hurricane's though, where he's still got Disruptors in his army against no Disruptors of his opponent at all. Even if he's got less Immortals, etc. Targets down that Disruptors and obviously doesn't get the shot off. As this Archon will also be chased down, it will fall. And it goes down. So we're going to be seeing these units in the center from Hurricane, just seeing if they can get up to much right here. Double Stargate being added on by Billowy as well in the main, so just seeing if you can find something. There's Disruptor shot again, this time for Hurricane. Finally finding a connection as he goes back into some Disruptor production of his own. Meanwhile, we see a whole chunk of Zealots and Immortals from Billowy coming down the south side. Running into a run by of Zealots from Hurricane. Still just this idea of kind of fighting in the center, running around the edges of the map with bits and pieces whenever possible, try and get damage done throughout the game. Fleet drops down from Hurricane 2 here, and again a few more Archons just building up, a couple of Disruptors still in production as well, +1 shields coming down on the Forge, the +1 air weapons coming up as well, which is an interesting switch as the Fleet Beacon comes in. I mean, Protoss lately has had that tendency to aim towards Sky Toss as the game continues on, and it's definitely what we're beginning to sort of see a little bit of a leaning towards right now, as we're going to see Zealots and Archons now going to run into Zealots, Immortals, and Archons of Billowy. And it's a little bit of a weird fight over in this direction. As it's again a Hurricane picking off another Disruptor of his opponent. And he's going to see a big blink forwards, will lose a Disruptor in the process, doesn't respond with a Disruptor shot of his own in time. And meanwhile, to the south side, Hurricane is losing this fight quite dramatically, as the Immortals, bruised and bad, can't get away fast enough, and they will just end up dying off. Unfortunately, just getting picked off here. So Hurricane not in the best of positions there as Billowy, looking very, very good. Still a group of units in the center here, just gathering up together. We're going to see the double Stargate of Hurricane finishing as well. And still pushing forward, Stalkers, Disruptors, Immortals, and Archon. You should see Hurricane kind of pushing himself into a corner here, as we're going to be seeing his opponent coming forward. There's a big Disruptor hit on these Immortals though. We're going to get a lot of damage done. Is it enough? Well, Hurricane's still trailing heavily in supply. He lifts up a couple units into the Prism, as now more Zealots charge forwards. It's the disruptors he's chosen to keep alive in the prism, as he will be able to make good progress on this base. However, the rest of the army is now coming into play, and that's where the disruptors are, and that's going to be very important. As we're going to see the first disruptor taken down, the second one too. Neither shot connects, and well, Billowy making the most of this is actually going to be seen. Not even sure whose disruptor shot that was. Was it Billowy's? I think it was Hurricanes and a couple of Archons in the back here. That was a little bit of a hectic few moments as well. This PvP game so far has really just been absolutely crazy for us. We're going to see carriers on the way from both players. Disruptor on the right hand side again, chased away by a few Stalkers as well, so they continue to push that back, and Disruptor will indeed go down. Meanwhile, Stalkers in the front picking off yet another Disruptor. Stalker's actually doing a good job trading Disruptors for not too much else, as we're going to be seeing. Oh, grabs an Immortal. Well, it doesn't kill the Immortal, but again, damage to it. You know, a Disruptor shot on Immortal does a lot. Pops the barrier, does the damage to really bring it low in health. And Hurricane has clawed his way back in terms of the supply. He's way up in workers, by the way, about 14 ahead, so his income is going to be that little bit higher, and that extra little bit of income from Hurricane can go a long way into just rebuilding those armies a bit faster. Ahead of these fights. You can see that Hurricane definitely hasn't been trading better in the game, so he's needed those extra workers throughout here, as he will be picking off that Oracle. But now from both, I mean, carriers are on the way. We've seen the first few of them even finishing up. At least we have from Billowy. Hurricanes have just finished up now, so both players with carriers on the map. We're getting into kind of a completely new and fresh stage of the PvP at this point. As you're going to see Zealots charging forwards, as Archons are already taking a lot of damage from Zealots. Going to warp in next to these ones here, though, and in general, Archons are a pretty good way to defend against those Zealots, especially if you see the Zealots coming in, so you can start a kite backwards with the Archons in plenty of time. Stalkers pulling forwards, are going to get rid of a cannon here right away. Going to see some Zealots being picked away at, and I'm just going to see those Zealots continue to drop on down. Actually, Disruptor will chase it, and we'll be able to pick up the kills. You see more probes being picked up. Probes being picked up. We're going to see the Immortal again picked up as well, and again, another Disruptor shot coming down to the south. And Hurricane just looking to see what he can get up to. It's coming up the left-hand side. We're just going to be seeing Hurricane. Still looking to see if he can get some damage done while Billowy positions in the center. It is Hurricane who's going to max out first here. So he has money in the back though. We're going to see these Interceptors will have a pretty good time already picking off an Archon, and well, just nowhere near enough Stalkers to realistically fight against these, as continue to chase down and just get the kill on the Immortal. Disruptor's going to try and ward the army back. Obviously difficult to see where that army is due to the Mothership cloaking on up those units. Disruptor's going to go the wrong way, unfortunately, and still difficult to hit exactly and to know if you've hit until you've actually hit because of the Mothership cloaking. As we'll see the continued attack though, Hurricane eventually will continue to move in towards the northern side of the map. And that could be the big issue here, where we've actually seen, ooh, well, that's going to be interesting. The Disruptors will get a lot of worker damage done, but they will die, so the Disruptors kind of just given up, I guess, in preference for kind of more carriers, etc. I was going to say is that eventually here we do see the top Nexus going down, and that's going to be the big difference in this game. Now just being limited to 4 bases, Billowy is not going to be in as pretty a situation in terms of rebuilding and just continuing to mine as Hurricane is. He's been sat on 5 bases for a long time and does still hold the bottom right position here. He's been actually doing a very good job of holding this throughout and not really allowing Billowy to get into a position to do much about it. And a few Interceptors being fired forwards, doing a little bit of damage here and there. Stalkers pulling away towards the center as well. Carriers in the skies pulling back over to the left hand side, and it's blinking forwards again. A few more Zealots getting picked off, another one now too. Units to the far right hand side. Zealots already going to take down an Immortal, and well, now I guess he just engages from a couple of different angles, and this is just going to be a bit of a large fight between the carriers more than anything else. As we're going to see the Archons are a big part of this to help get rid of the Interceptors nice and quick. The Archons of Billowy just aren't joining the fight fast enough though, which means that there's so many Interceptors left of Hurricane to keep pushing forwards with, and could be the difference. As he blinks in, he's going to get rid of one carrier already. Still a large Archon count of his opponent though, and that is scary. That is the one thing that can just turn this around so quickly. Because those Interceptors, they are small. They will stack up a little bit. They will take the splash damage from those Archons. Billy keeps this base up here alive, but he did lose a lot of the probes in the process of losing the 12 o'clock base. And having lost those probes means he just can't transfer over to another base right away. So a nice pick off. He's going to see these Zealots getting caught, blinking on top of them as well. Just make sure he kills as many as possible. And once again, Billowy hits a brick wall. This Hurricane defending well. He will maybe have some difficulty over here until he, well, just recalls over into position. We'll be able to keep the base alive, and we'll again just shut down another wave of Zealots. However, it will just trigger these Zealots to move back in towards this base, towards the bottom right, knowing now that it's unlikely that Hurricane will have his army in position at all to deal with this, unless he recalls again. Which he does, I guess. I guess the recalls work. We've seen this army of Billowy still just moving around. Coming in towards the middle of the map now, and for the first time in a little while, Billowy will once again be pushing forwards to try and be aggressive with the majority of his army rather than just a small portion of Zealots, etc. You can already see kind of units from Hurricane trying to rotate up. This base from Hurricane is just in trouble. I mean, again though, this is kind of his 6th base here rather than his 5th base, and that's going to be where the difference is. Although his 5th is starting to mine out, the efficiency in the game wasn't brilliant for Hurricane throughout, but it is getting better as the game goes by, which will be a big help. As again, adding in a couple of voids, I'm still just enjoying the Archon count of Billowy though. 9 against 4. It just means those interceptors are going to die so quickly on the side of Hurricane. Finally, these Zealots are going to start making progress until again, just another recall home. Just going to clean up those Zealots nice and quickly. Billowy loses quite a lot for it, but again, he forces a recall. He forces the army to move into a position where he knows where it's going to be. Some probes going to pull away. He's trying to saturate this base to the kind of top left. Something which Hurricane's just not figured out just yet. And of course, a little bit of a shame because he ideally would like to know about all of those bases. He will run in towards the 4th now, and well, this will go down pretty quick. A few probes that were left on this mine and still having a good time already, and they were taken down. And 4th base, I mean, there wasn't a lot of minerals left on. They were talking about, well, at most about 1,000 minerals, so barely even worth rebuilding the Nexus on this position. Only 100 gas as well. 23 minutes into game 1 of this PvP, and we're getting quite the macro game here to kind of slow the tournament down a bit, because we have been having rather a fast tournament today. Lots of quick games, just going, just never stopping it seems. As I blink to the center, Stalkers come onto that watchtower, and well, Billowy still just setting up to see what might happen next. Couple of observers on the way out, and yeah, probes going down to the south, a Zealot up to the top as well. This observer just also moving forwards. This observer moving in here. Zealots charging on forwards as well. And here we go, a little bit of a fight will start to happen. Clumped up army of Hurricane. Has to be so careful of those Archons. Archons on either side. Hurricane will just recall away. Look at the carrier, the interceptor count. You can see it's just non-existent because again, those Archons get rid of them so quickly. That's why Hurricane should be focusing on adding on any more Archons, which he is doing. You can see that one of them morphing in right now. And he does finally find this base to the top side as well of the Zealots. That's a big deal because now he knows where that extra little bit of economy is still around for Billowy. You know, he knows where it's coming from now, which means he can respond to it. He can start to focus that base, and as he shuts that down, it should start to close this out for Hurricane. Again, it's been a long game. It's been back and forth, and it's been treacherous, and it's not been easy. You'll see a Prism will just give him a little bit of an early sight about these few Zealots, which start to wander on in towards this base down here as well. Meanwhile, Archon's pushing forwards to Billowy as well, and going to be taking their way through it, kind of a pile or so, and Revelation will drop down, so now we do know Hurricane can see what he's attacking into. It is the mothership taking some damage as it tries to retreat. Maybe he just starts to take the fight right here. He'll take down some interceptors to begin with, and already it's not going to be a fight he's going to want to continue, as the mothership being targeted down by the voids. It's low, it's very low. I don't think he's going to continue here. Well, he's not going to continue to fight. The mothership's still low though. If you can get rid of the mothership, no recall available. Already the interceptor count from Billowy, sorry, is super low. Hurricane losing out on a few probes over here, but he does transfer a few over as well. Now only 30 workers apiece in the game. Not much mining available on either side of the map due to the lower worker counts. As we're going to see again, pushing forwards into this, the interceptors get to work, and again, it is just so many more interceptors available here for Hurricane, as I think he's maybe starting to push on through because of it. Still though, the Zarkons are underneath and can get some good work done, but the mothership goes down. Stalkers from the right side just helping out a little by little. And again, at the end of the day, the interceptor count from Hurricane will be too high. the carriers will fall, and that from Billowy will just have to be GG. First game of the series goes, and Hurricane is ready for us all. So let's jump on in and introduce some players as we enter game 2 of what has already been quite a long Protoss versus Protoss matchup. So the bottom left-hand side will be kicking things off with... Sorry, our bottom right-hand side will be kicking things off with the red Protoss player, who in the end was just about able to push his way into a lead in this series. Going up 1-0 now in the best of 3, it is Hurricane. And he is going up against the blue Protoss player to the bottom left-hand side of the map. Was ahead at points, and actually at points I really thought he had, especially in the Blink Stalker Disruptor sort of phase of the game. I would say it was almost definite that he had quite the advantage. Over his opponent, and was definitely trading very well at that sort of stage. Weird map, weird way that it played out in the end, as we have Billowy to the bottom left-hand side. The openings here from either side will be the double gateway. Although definitely a little bit of a different way to set up initially, as we see the double stalker on the way from Billowy, and Hurricane gonna opt to build no units at all right away to just start putting his Nexus down. Just putting that Nexus down right away right here, and just gonna be seeing the rover facility coming on up here from Hurricane as well. Send that up and getting ready to go as the Stargate from Billowy. We'll drop one down too, so nothing really crazy at all, just two different ways to kind of attack here early, and Billowy kind of opening the Stargate will give him a lot of harassment potential, chances to kind of get damage done. From Hurricane, especially with the faster Nexus, he's really just looking towards defending, playing safe, making sure he's time and time again here going to have the right units that he needs to defend against all of this. As we see the Robo will be finishing in just a few moments time. That'll give him the Observer for detection, it'll give him the potential Warp Prism to harass, but most importantly the Immortal production to really just stay safe and secure. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if this went into something like a couple of Immortals, Twilight Council and a Robo Bay, and just start heading in towards that Blink Stalker Disruptor playstyle nice and early on without any real surprises, any real questions, just nice early standard stuff from both sides. You're going to see a few pros. It's going to come down to the natural expansions. Just mining away here a little bit. You can see one pylon dropping down, and a Phoenix from Billowy is about halfway done. So just have that first unit across the map. It's not a Stargate unit though, it's the Mothership Core. Just looking to try and pick up some information perhaps here. As he will come in at the back, you'll see the Twilight Council, you'll see the Robo 2. An overcharge popped down, so you can actually push this back nice and easily. One probe is getting very low, and we'll be able to stay alive just about. Was very nearly about to go down there, but just about able to squeeze away. So far, Hurricane has not really seen anything, hasn't seen the tech of his opponent at all. And you will hallucinate Phoenix now with the early center production. You'll be able to do this to try and pick up some info, and you will see two Phoenix just there. Whether you notice them or not, well, you'll probably notice them shortly, as you actually now see this Warp Prism also coming across the map. So Prism will be able to actually bypass the initial Phoenix, which is really awesome. As you're going to see Phoenix lifting up a Stalker there, realizing it's not what he wants to lift, and instead cancels it and lifts up the Sentry. A little bit of a wasted amount of energy there, but definitely worthwhile to pick off the Sentry, which is definitely going to go down compared to the Stalker, which isn't really guaranteed. As you're going to be seeing the Phoenix coming in to try and help defend now, as you're going to see two Adepts and two Stalkers as well to kind of push forwards and do some damage into the main base. You'll see the Prism doesn't really know where to go for the best, I guess, just yet. As you're going to see Immortal taking quite a lot of damage here. Two more Phoenix coming into play, of course, and as they come back, we'll change things up quite nicely. As we're going to see Billowy, really a good defense here, using his Immortal until it got very, very low, then pulling it back, using the Phoenix lifts to keep himself very safe, and overall a very good defense by Billowy, I would say, actually. Shuts down so much of the army of Hurricane, and actually now Hurricane, back at home, barely has any army supply. He has an Observer, he has a Stalker, he's warping in two more. That's really about it. You know, Mothership Core is up as well. There's not that much at all here for our Red Protoss player. But Hurricane may just be safe anyways, because Billowy doesn't seem as though he's going to get too aggressive. He'll poke across the map with the Phoenix. He'll have a little bit of a look to see what's up and what's happening. But for the most part, he'll just be sitting back and teching up himself. Now Hurricane will have a much faster blink upgrade to use, same as the last game. Faster blink, something you can utilize here, and he's also going to have a few extra gates finishing up very soon here, Hurricane, so should be able to do some bits and pieces with that. There's the Phoenix coming all the way over to the right hand side. So again, looking to see what's up and what's going on. Just going to try and harass a little bit. Obviously, one of the frustrating things about Phoenix players, if you do get behind, you can oftentimes find it very difficult to get back in the game because you're consistently rebuilding workers. You know, those Phoenix have already been invested to and they're just efficient throughout. And so if you're behind against Phoenix opening, it's generally going to stay that way. Now, that said, this game is looking to be very aggressive from Hurricane. We did see him making a lot of gateways, and I wasn't too sure how much this was really going to mean. But it looks as though it is quite serious when it comes to coming across the map and killing his opponent. So gateway is already going to be empowered. This probe going to back away. He does have the chance to rebuild a pylon here, and he will rebuild it. Gets in there, and just before the just come back to kill it, he will be able to get that power to the gateway. So warpins are very, very close. Prism was made as well. Hurricane will start third nexus behind this. Also the Forge on the way up. And the Stalker's blinking to the side and doing a little bit here and there, but there's that gateway powered once again, and it's 7 gates against 2. Hurricane just looking to power his way through the frontier potentially now. Initial pylon will be overcharged, and he will just start blink away, although he will just target it down, using the blink to keep his Stalkers alive. So first overcharge works away against already. Now one of the problems is the Phoenix, of course. They can lift up a lot of the units here, so they can lift up the Immortals and the real power the real damage dealers. And so Hurricane, I think, just realized overall it's best to just back away. He's still going to be the player with a faster third nexus because he has delayed that from his opponent. So Hurricane's still in a good position, just controlling the pacing of the game, trying to be aggressive, doesn't see the chance, and pulls back instead. So he pulls them back, and yeah, just going to be seeing the hallucinating Phoenix. I was sort of sad here as well, not really doing too much more. I thought it might go on a bit of an adventure, which is why I was sat there where I was like, come on, you're going to move, aren't you? You're Phoenix. You're not used to sitting around and doing nothing. Right? Dot, 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 dot. Right? Dot, 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 dot. Let's see, the gateway up top is going to get taken down as well. Again, a lot of these units from Hurricane just going to be sitting just out the front of these couple of pylons. So, a lot of units just sitting here. Getting set to go. There's the 2 High Templars starting to warp in as well. Going to morph into an Archon. We're going to see another couple of Adepts warping also. The pylon just coming in just north of this group of probes. Colossus production on the way up. A couple more warpins down on the third base as well. And these Phoenix from Billowy just looking around, thinking about what they want to do. Throwing down a gateway here as well between the couple of pylons. And Hurricane's looking to attack again. I mean, to be fair, look at this. He's got +1 against +1. He's got 84 against 67 army supply. I mean, it makes sense for him to be attacking. Can he make something work? They're going in towards his opponent's third base. He can get rid of these pylons and overcharges right from the start. Would again be a great way to get things going. The Colossus play here from Billowy is something you don't see much of in PvP nowadays. And especially right now, it's going to be a little bit weak because he doesn't have extended thermal lance. Without the thermal lance, he's also not going to have... Well, he's only got one of them as well. He's going to see the Adept Shade on top of this army. I mean, there goes the Colossus almost immediately as the Immortals get on top of it. And, well, as we just see, the army of Billowy is disappearing. Absolutely just no chance to fight against the amount of units here from Hurricane. A well-played game, he had enough, and those extra gates early served him well. Slowed his opponent down enough to get a faster third nexus, still have the extra production already. He put it to use, and that is GG. Hurricane will take game 2 and take